They don't have to put a hole in your head. They don't have to cut your throat. They don't have to send you over there with them at. All they got to do is put something in you, man. Give it time. It'll take toll on them. And by the time it do, the doctor's going to have a different diagnosis than what the coroner going to really know. The doctor's going to say it was this and that. And that's what they're going to put on that death certificate. But they killed you, man.
Prison Stories 101. We are back with another one. Man, we got him right back in the building. First and foremost, Kane, welcome back to Prison Stories. How you feeling, man?
I'm doing all right, man. How about you?
Man, I can't complain. First and foremost, I just want to thank you for the first time coming through. Again, I was trying to pivot the channel a little bit to kind of have more serious conversations. And looking at the response to your interview, a lot of people appreciated the fact that, you know, not only are you well-spoken, but they could tell like you really went through there. I always like to ask whenever someone comes back for a second time, what kind of feedback, if any, have you gotten in regards to, if anyone's seen your interview, what kind of feedback have you gotten about it?
Quite a few people done seen the interview. They approached me, my uncle approached me, my neighbors, they happen to see it, maybe not the whole interview, but the reels. And, it got a double-sided effect to it, because when some of the young people seen it, they watched it like 4 or 5 times, not because of the fact that they knew me. It's just because of what I was saying. Because a lot of people talk about prison, their stories, going in, going out, but it's like they getting a different angle of looking at it from how I was painting the picture. So they was like, man, I ain't know you spoke on that. And I was like, man, the objective is to keep young people doing the right thing without veering off track. So I told them I try to do what I do.
That's real. And right before we started, you have to take a moment to kind of get your mindset, ready to speak about prison.
Right.
Which makes me wonder in the question as far as once you're out and, you move around the world and you're a free man, basically you're in the free world, how often does prison come to mind for yourself? How often do you think back to the days of prison or, how often does that mentality like play with your day to day?
Honestly, man, for each individual, that experience is going to be different because if you didn't go in to actually stay in and you just went in on a visit, prison might not affect you as much. But when you had to turn prison into your home and you was forced to adapt to an environment that was consumed by the opposition in terms of how you was actually raised when it comes to doing right and doing wrong, and you realize up in here, wrong is promoted more than doing right, it's a difference, man. So when you leave that and you get back into society, it's never the same. Like going to sleep at night, I'm not gonna lie and say I don't dream about it. I'm locked back up. I done had plenty of dreams where the dream be so damn real. I be saying it to myself in the dream, how the hell did I let this happen? And then it hurts so bad, I go back into sleep and then wake up and realize I'm free. And I be like, damn, I got to stay on top of my shit out here, man, because I can't afford to go back.
Yes. And if you don't mind, again, before we get deep into it, go ahead and reintroduce yourself and let them know how much time you did.
I'm Kane. I done did over 18 years locked up. Been on maybe 10, 15, 20 units in the state of Texas. Been around almost any nigga from any part of town in Texas. Houston, Dallas, Shreveport, all across the Amarillo,
And I'm glad you said that because, again, 18 years of your life, man, that's a long time. So where you speak about when you're having a dream, you damn near feel like you're back in there. I would say, would you say that's normal? Because technically for 18 years, that was what you would consider your home. And to be free, as long as you've been free, you spend more time on the inside. As a grown man, as a man, you spend more time on the inside than the outside. Would you say it's still normal? Would you say it's normal, or is that a battle you still fight to dream about the free world more so?
I'm gonna put it to you like this, man. The people who love you, those are the ones who can analyze and observe you. They can see what you don't see about you. So even when I come down here to do this interview, my wife tell me, I really ain't cool with you doing that because you come here and I'm trying to suppress the shit that you went through in jail because you show that shit out here. When we be places, how you look at people, how you do shit, you pause, you get quiet. You go there and they'll get to having you reliving some shit, and then you'll sit up in his house and you be stirring. And I'll be like, man, you tripping, man. She be like, nah, man, you don't see that shit. But I sit back and see it, and I know what the fuck be going through your head. And I be like, well, man, it ain't nothing, I'm all right. And then she's like, nah, you ain't all right, because I have to listen to that shit. When you start talking, I'm the closest thing to you, and the shit that you talk about be shit that come from prison. When you start talking about experiences and stories and what you remember, you talk about it. And I tell her, man, you know, that's because when I got locked up at 17 and I had to do all that time locked up, when they released me, I had been held as prisoner longer than I was a free man. So of course I'm gonna have more coming from this side than I do that side. But I appreciate you listening to me though. I say because that's what balanced me out. And that's why it's important for, you know, have somebody next to you, man, to kind of release that shit, because if you consume it so much and you never have nobody there, living in your head in prison is one thing. But once you free and you actually got somebody you can talk to, prison done taught you silence is power. So the people around you look at silence, it ain't power. It's a weakness to them because you have to communicate. That's the only way you're gonna make it out here. And see, enough, you can walk around all day long, man. Never say nothing to nobody. As long as they don't fuck with you, you don't fuck with them. You can live in your head all day long. So as a man thinking, so shall he be. And to you, you everything. But out here to the people who actually sizing you up on a day-to-day basis, they can't understand you. So you unnormal to them. But to you, everything is fine. And me and her get to going back and forth sometime, man. It ain't just her. It's my brother and a lot of people because they grew up in a world where Facebook, Instagram, it's a part of their culture. So they cannot live without that. Somebody get in your inbox on Facebook, say you ugly, say something bad about you. They've been raised that person just fucked up. They did the worst thing ever. But to a man that come from being in a cell 24 hours a day, I done seen worse than that. My concerns is on keeping air flowing through my lungs. You concerned about somebody not liking your hairdo. That means your perspective is fucking you up. You will have high blood pressure before me because I'm too calm. That's not gonna move me. You literally have to stand in front of me and show me you an immediate threat, and then I'm gonna react. But the downside of captivity, man, is once you've been in the cage for so long, the emotions within a man, it eats away at them. And a lot of men don't understand why when they get out, a woman will steady bitch at them about the smallest shit. That's because he blind to it. The shit that triggers you, baby, is the shit that I look at like, baby, this simple. You tripping over something that ain't that important. Now she get to asking the questions. What the fuck matters to you? What really moves you? What you really concerned about? And you know what I tell all day long, man? I say, baby, look, prison done taught me one thing. I'm gonna appreciate today. That's guaranteed. I'm gonna value what I'm looking at and what I'm hearing right now because it means more to me than anything. I will come up with a plan for tomorrow, but that ain't no guarantee. So when you sitting back going off about why somebody said this, who don't like you, baby, ask yourself one question. If you was dying in 5 minutes, how important would any of that be? Mm-hmm. And this is what I say all the time to her when I get ready to calm her down. I think different than you. We don't think the same, but it's good that you with me because I'm gonna help ease your nerves. Because when you get to shifting off that mountain, I'm gonna show you, baby, it's a smoother way. But I had to go through something to get like that. And the shit I went through, I went and promote that and say, hey, everybody need to be trapped in a cage. Put them in the bathroom, let them sit there 23 hours a day just so they could learn to look at the world where it ain't nobody there but just them. Yeah. When people learn to adapt to that and you can come up with an answer to that, then you fit for society. But when today's era, like I say, man, people, kids, and including them, you spend more time talking to the TV, listening to the radio than you do talking to mankind. So the people who love you the most when it comes to being locked up, and you say, do you leave prison behind? No man will ever go and spend over 10, 15 years in jail and leave jail in jail. Come on. No matter how much they get here, even somebody you bring here on this platform might could tell you, I'm far from institutionalized. I'll never be this, I'll never be that. I promise you, man, it's gonna be the smallest thing that'll seep out and maybe he'll know and he'll catch it and won't nobody else see it. And that goes back to them skeletons in the closet, man. Everybody can't know everything about you. And know you let everybody know everything about you. Because it's something that breaks everybody down and it's something that picks everybody up. And people like to keep that a secret.
That's real. You know, you could kind of mirror prison to war. You know, a lot of people go to war, Vietnam, or Iraq, whatever it is, and they have PTSD coming back.
Right.
And let's say they did 4 tours from 18 years old. Now they're 32 and they're trying to talk to a woman or talk to a wife. And it's an amount that only so many war stories she probably want to hear. Right. But it's like, that's all I've known since I got out of school. That's all I've known. So what is the level for you as far as how much you speak about prison, as far as from the day you got out up until now? Did you kind of slowly get off of that, or do you even speak about prison to, let's say, strangers, friends, family?
Not initially, I don't. Like when I first met her, along with anybody else I met in life, they never even knew I was locked up. They never even knew I was locked up that long, because I learned real fast how to adjust with society. And then as a youth coming up, I'm not gonna say I grew up around pimps and players and but see, that was kind of like part of my culture though. You know, people who learn how to have a smooth line, you know what I'm saying? Have something slick to say. You learn short con, long con. All this was like given to you from the streets. You know, it was phases to this shit coming up as a youth. You might start stealing candy out the store. You graduate to stealing dogs. You graduate to stealing bicycles. You go from stealing bicycles to breaking in houses, schools. Then you transgress into stealing cars. And then eventually you travel into drugs, robbery, and things of this nature. So it's a process to this. So my cultivation and me looking at society, coming from prison and getting back out here, I kind of pushed that back to where my demeanor would say, I ain't been to jail, because I learned how to smile. I learned how to talk to people about what they want to talk about. I learned how to take a yes, look at it like it's a no and look at it like it's a yes. But some people don't understand it. And what I mean by that is you got to read between the lines. People will tell you directly what they want you to know, but indirectly, the shit they don't tell you is the shit you really want to know. And you got to know how to read between the two.
You had said something at the beginning where, you know, depends on what you were like going in, can decipher as far as how you are coming out. Like, let's say you were a person who followed rules, respectful, you know, doing everything right, and then you're going to prison. And now you have to adjust to that versus someone who was already out here wilding, basically already animal outside in the real world and going to prison. They kind of at home with themselves. So thank you for speaking on that, because that actually makes it make more sense as far as what kind of man you are when you come out. Because some people might have been that same type of person going in. I say all that to say, you know, we do these prison stories. We have these conversations. Of course, the goal is not to glorify prison. The goal is to, of course, just talk about experiences that you had in the 18 years you were in there. We were talking off camera about a situation that had happened. And again, you can speak on it again, but someone had to, I don't want to use the word come to your rescue, but someone had to get in between you and the situation. You can speak on that situation in itself. And also I want you to speak on like how many times do another inmate might come to your aid, whether you going to someone else's aid or someone coming to your aid to maybe stop something even crazier from happening.
In prison, that's the purpose of gangs, families, and organizations, because one man can't make it by itself. You got to have something behind you. Now, that don't mean you need another man. You might just have respect behind you. But you alone, individualized, is not good enough to make it in prison. And I tell people all the time, a lot of people go in, they say, hey, man, somebody ever touch you? You ever been raped? Dude ever try this here? Say, look here, man. You surrounded by 1 million niggas. Big, small, tall, short. Some can fight, some can't fight. Some good with a razor, some good with a brick. Any man locked in a cell, 10 or 15 niggas, I don't give a damn if you Bruce Lee. If one nigga grab your leg and another one grab your other leg, and one grab that arm and one grab that arm, what's stopping them niggas from getting that ass, man? Ain't nothing gonna stop that. It's too many of them. So a lot of people feel like that'll never happen to me. Hey, man, maybe you're right. But if it don't happen to you, then just count your blessings, man. Somebody might be praying for you. Maybe it ain't your time. Maybe that wasn't in your story, man. God probably looking over you. But I ain't never took no shit like that for granted. That's why niggas, what they say, turn into an animal while they locked up. Because don't nobody want no ass from a wild animal. You only want to take something from the pure. But if I can look at you and tell you a nasty, trifling motherfucker and you raw and uncut, nigga, I don't want you. What's sweet about you? And that's what niggas try to keep an image of. Ain't nothing to be played with over here. I ain't candy, man. And that's how it goes back to what I said about reputation. You can stand here by yourself, but if your reputation stink, ain't nobody gonna fuck with you, man. If they can smell that motherfucker before they see you, or they hear your name and they start thinking twice about it, you ain't gotta worry about that. But see, in a situation where you in a game, not necessarily saying you need one, but sometimes it's beneficial, and that's why a lot of people group up and join them. Niggas don't discover they don't like pork until they get to prison. They find out, damn, to be a Crip, I got to get beat up and get in there. Or I got to put in work. To be a Blood, I got to get beat up and put in there. But if I can go join Malik and Kane, all I got to do is carry this Quran, wrap this green shit around my motherfucking head and pray 5 times a day. Now all of a sudden, nigga writing home talking about he don't eat pork. Nigga, that Muslim shit ain't nothing but some gang shit to me anyway. You know what I'm saying? I look at the same thing. And I used to call them niggas, they Muslim gangsters over there, man. But they friendly gangsters. They friendly gang members. You know what I'm saying?
Would they protect you? I know, I hate to get stereotypical, but the movies always show like a young black dude, probably gang banging, get into the Muslim and some elder Muslim come and tell the niggas that he's off limits, we can't touch him and nobody can touch him, he's protected by the Muslim. Is that, like, do they offer protection like that? Or is it just more so because he's into his religion,
you know,
we ain't
what?
gonna mess with him?
That's the humility within the organizations. It's not necessarily a manipulation. It's more of a, you come into the game and let's say I'm an OG. Okay, I'm not as flamboyant as I used to be. The peacock syndrome is gone. I don't need everybody to see my fellas. So now I reflect on how I became a part of it. I have regrets. I shouldn't have been out here doing what I was doing behind a color, behind no wiggling of no fingers, behind some streets that I don't own. So as a G, I check myself on that. So when I see another brother come through the system and he says, man, I want to change my life. I lost everything. Now I'm in jail, man. I don't want to do no banging, bro. I know y'all from over here. That's what I used to claim. I want to be with the Lord. Well, that goes back to keeping the cheat up off your shoulder, man. So you'll see a young nigga and say, all right, homie, you want to go over there and be down with them niggas? Go on, go be down with the Muslims, man. Renounce your flag, let them niggas know you ain't banging, man. And they'll give a nigga a pass like that. But then you catch one homie come through the door and he look at the nigga, but he know even in the streets, nigga, you was a bitch. You was hiding behind that flag. You wasn't built like that. That shit ain't in you. You was trying to identify with your surroundings, nigga. I know you was a hoe. And he want to get at it. Then they got to go to the Muslim. And the Muslim do say, hey, bro, that's one of my brothers, man. We can't let that transpire because he one of us. If you fuck with him, we gonna fuck with you. And then that's where the heads got to come together. So when that happen, what the Muslims may do or what they may not do, they may put him in a real situation to see what type of choices he gonna make to see if he for real. Because every movement has its own stipulations that you must abide by. So you can't come into the Muslim Brotherhood like you a sucker, running from some more shit and thinking we gonna play protected custody. Now, because I know some Muslims that's gonna stand up, stomp down, and they gonna say, look out, bro, you can't go smoke up them niggas shit, man. They wanna get on your ass and violate you, and then you wanna run over here and join us and think we gonna step up and speak for you. Because see, the thing about prison population is them numbers fluctuate. One day you might have 30 Crips over here. You might have 15 Muslims over there. After that ride between the Crips and the Bloods, you might have 10 Crips over here and 35 Muslims over there. So the politics in prisons vary. And it goes back to the numbers game. So if you get caught up on the wrong side, and that's what I say about doing time and being in time out. Some niggas don't stay locked up long enough to see the transition. Yeah. Some niggas don't stay in there long enough to see the wave come through that bitch to where a nigga know, I done did this here 2-3 years ago. I'm still looking at that nigga down there. And I noticed when he hit that yard, he got about 20 niggas with him now. But then you sitting down here, and it ain't nothing but you and maybe 3-4 niggas. But you still got your reputation. So somehow, some way, man, you got to pick at them numbers over there. That's why the war in prison never stops. Because at all times, you got to stay afloat, man. Yeah. And each one of them niggas over there, hey, man, you never know when you're dealing with a crash dummy. Like, prime example. I was doing time on Robinson on 8 building, man. I ran into a dude out Fort Worth. Nigga was doing a live sentence, man. I think his name was K. White. And me and this nigga got tight, you hear me? We was in the cell together on Robinson. He used to kick it with this nigga named Heavy D. And I'm talking about K. White was a gambling ass nigga. Hit on damn near every parlay board, everything. And then they slid a sucker through there, man. Now, don't get me wrong. I identify with my environment. You know what I'm saying? But I didn't identify to the extent that I was going to go to the extreme with it. So when a nigga came through there, K. White, he had a little more finesse. I'm reputation hunting. Not necessarily directly, oh, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. No, because I really didn't want no trouble. That's what I understand about passive-aggressive, aggressive-passive. And at the time, I was aggressive-passive. Well, I'm looking like I want trouble, but really I want peace. I don't want nobody bothering me. But so I'm going to put the image out there because I've already built a certain reputation. So when you put the two together, I can sell this shit because at the end of the day, it's all about survival, right? And when his character come through, K. White finessed the nigga, and I told K. White, man, you know, bro, I keep an eye on a nigga. If he cross the line, let me know, man. You know what I'm saying? We ain't gonna play with this nigga around here. Ain't nobody gonna fuck with him. So K. White was telling everybody, hey, man, you know, he over here, he with us. So when they see us, you got to understand, when you got a solid connection, man, and this is how niggas become brothers locked up, man. In prison, you can establish a bond with a nigga ain't never seen your mama, ain't even from where you from. But the nigga so real to where it's like y'all just know, if this nigga fall, I'm gonna fall with him. When he fight, I'm gonna fight with him no matter what. And me and K. White was coming out the cafeteria, man, I can't think if it was breakfast or lunch, but the little nigga was so scared because it's time for him to pay up, and the nigga got tired of paying, man. And I guess his people told him, say, you gonna have to do what you gotta do because we ain't sending no more money down there. And then this is where you go back to having an eye behind your head, sleeping with one eye open. Because when niggas get too comfortable in jail, shit like this happen. And a nigga tried to fuck K. White out when we was coming out the cafeteria right by the sergeant desk, and K. White grabbed the nigga, and the nigga kept hollering about, I ain't gonna pay. And I had to go over there and grab K. White because we trying to suppress the shit. Because that hollering and screaming, say, man, in prison, that's a 911 move. So we trying to shut the nigga up like, nah, homie, just chill. We gonna let's go. I'm telling K. White, don't hit the nigga, don't do nothing, bro. Let the nigga go because we got to keep our position. That's the most important thing. You have to stay stable in order to be prosperous. This nigga screamed and hollered like a bitch, man, to where people went to saying, hey, 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 hey. And from that moment there, I never seen K. White again, man, because he had more dirt on him than I had on me. He been there, I just got there. And they snatched my brother away from him, man. And I say, I'll be damned, bro, behind this nigga right here. But at the same time, the system knows because my reputation had already preceded me. You can take K. White. He was in the cell with me. But am I going to let that shit slide? So now he got what he wanted. Took K. White out the game and got him a bus ticket somewhere else. And see, that wouldn't have been effective had it not been for the shit that was going on in 95, 96, and 97. Because wherever he went, that letter would have already had them crip niggas at that back gate with the fucking mouth. Yeah. See, they stopped prisoners from being able to write each other behind shit like that. So you can't fuck up her nigga and get you a bus ticket over there. Because guess what? Prison is like one big circle, man. That whole world, it's like a network of communication. Yeah. People know people. And if you do the wrong shit over here, man, if the officer didn't like you, put it like this. An officer seen what you did, right? You try to attack K. White. That officer is cool with the officer that's bringing him his shit. They partners. But he ain't got nothing to do with what the officer doing. But you get your ass back there and lock up, this officer trying to fuck that female guard. The female guard done come down there at count time, you standing up there with your dick in your hand. She go back in there and tell him, so-and-so, so-and-so. Guess what he do? Come down there and relay a message to a nigga like me. Say, homie, They shipping that nigga that did such over here and over there, man. You should have fucked that nigga off, but I know his bitch ass back on that PC shit. But when he get where he going, he not gonna be on PC. Man, that's all I need to hear.
Well,
guess what?
That's from the officer?
Yeah, that come from officer. Now you write that letter, it's going straight that way. Sealed up, they can't fuck with it. Then they switch, that's what I'm saying. See, the prison that niggas got now, you have to send your mail through the mail room open so they can analyze your mail, read your letter, whatever you saying, put it back in there, and they gonna seal it and ship it. Back then, we sealed our own shit and wrote whatever the fuck we want to wrote and shipped that shit out.
Damn, so they have to read your mail now, know what you sending it to.
Yeah, they reading your mail, reading everything now, man.
Yeah.
You know what, man? When I left prison, I'm gonna tell you what I called it, man. A summer camp for grown-ups. Cause ain't nothing to do but play games all day. That's what I called prison when I left.
Yeah.
Because when they sent me to Polanski unit where them niggas was on death row, I had no respect for them niggas on death row. Not as a whole, but a certain percentage. And when you're on death row, you can't afford to be broke down in the parts, man. That's one solid understanding. You niggas finna die in this bitch. How in the fuck can you afford to be weak and succumb to these people, man? Death row used to be worse than niggas in population. Niggas in population are damn to jump up and slap a guard in the goddamn mouth. Nigga on death row, you ain't got nothing to lose. Why you ain't with one of these hoes and then they in here taking your shit, fucking with you like you ain't shit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Ain't no respect, y'all. But certain ones, and the ones who actually knew they was gonna die, and they was looking for a way out before the needle, they respected them because they showed them, I ain't got shit to lose. I know this. It's only when you under that illusion, you still got hope. The ones they see with the Bible, praying, oh God, change this, oh God, change that. See, it make them wonder, man, just how powerful God is. Because God is forgiving. We'll agree with that. Everybody need a fresh shake in life. Ain't nobody perfect, man. People let people down all day long. People make bad decisions all day long. But at the end of the day, what you really want is to say a prayer, something fall out the sky and drop right there in front of you and say, okay, this is what this gonna be. And it don't always happen like that, man. Every now and then people get that blessing, but that ain't for everybody, man. And some people suffer through their forgiveness.
You know, speaking on the death row situation, I spoke to someone on this platform about what are the levels of consequence when you don't follow rules. And they say that, no, there's levels to the point of death. Right. When you're on death row, what are the levels if you ain't following the rules? Like if you choose not to eat or you bucking at the guards and you just uncooperative, what are the levels of punishment, I guess, if you already on death row?
If they ask you to do something, you don't do it, man, it's pretty much, I would have to say it's pretty much what you see on TV, but not so dramatic, you know, because TV is about ratings and getting, you know, they trying to sell something. In reality, they could take your property, they could not feed you, they could pick on you, they could come up with a reason to spray you with gas, they could lie and say you assaulted them, tell you come out your cell, just so they can get in your cell, beat you up in there like you attacked them, or get you out your cell in handcuffs, act like you spit on them so they can slam you on the ground. And then when you got 10 officers around one inmate, that's like a wall, man. You know, on Ferguson, that's what we used to do. Line up 10, 15 niggas like this here, and niggas will fight behind us, and the guards couldn't see because we got a human wall put up. It's the same thing them guards might do. Get your ass out there in them handcuffs. Once they line up in that camera right there, that camera can't see past everybody. But if they got 2 or 3 motherfuckers down there, one got his knee on your neck, one sticking his finger in your ass, and another one twisting and breaking your goddamn fingers, and all you hear is stop resisting, how you gonna call that play? Because as far as we know, you was resisting the whole time. Nah, that's what you heard them saying. Mm. You know, that's that what they call abuse of power, hiding behind the shield. You know, that's the games they play. But it's pretty much the same no matter how you look at it.
Yeah, who can you complain to in a situation like that? Like who can you tell on to say this happened to me and for them to give a damn?
Prison is a world you really don't want to go to.
Yeah.
Because they give you options, man. Back when I first got locked up, it was called IAD. Internal Affairs Division. Or was it AID? However that go, man.
Yeah.
Then they switched it up from IAD to upgrade that to OIG. And it's all the same organization. But at the same time, OIG had to come in and make a name for themselves by establishing we not like the last one. But as time passed, when the job get easy and people want money, and I start pulling my family in, and I start having my brother work here, and my sister-in-law work there, and my cousin work there, now we connected. So as an inmate, it's like going to the palace, man. You know, picture living in 1665 or 1900 BC, and you got a king, and all the subjects belong to the king, and then they have servants and slaves. If the slave try to whisper something to one of the guards, how far up that message gonna go before it get to the king? And then once it reach to the king, how many people do the king have in a position to treat the message of the slave like trash? So you can file a complaint, but you're gonna need a little more help. And the only way you can do that, it goes back to the manipulation of the staff. That's why niggas make it a business to understand the environment, but that's only the ones who live there, not the ones who just visiting. The niggas who been there over 10 or 15 years, they know who they can get at, talk to, and get inside their head and turn them against them before they become one of them. See what I'm saying? That's where TDC fucks up. You bring in people for the job, you train them and you put them out there, but you didn't fully get them up here. So when they get behind them bars with the rest of them inmates and they start to listen to these niggas, this is somebody who, let's say, may have watched his uncle go through something, mama go through something. He gonna be easily sucked into our world because he gonna be on the side of the oppressed from the get-go. Fuck what y'all talking about. I done heard too much of the shit the captain had to say. Bitch, you a pussy. The lieutenant finna whoop your bitch ass in the parking lot. You wouldn't fight. But you the same motherfucker caught that inmate back there in solitary and pushed his head inside that door. You did that. But see, when you got other people who are more manly and they see that, then they turn against them. So that's somebody you can say, hey, look, man, this one did this and that, and they'll work with you. But you can't afford to make that move and tell the wrong one because it's always process of elimination. If I know as a sergeant, that's my brother, but his last name Brown, mine Smith, and I done helped you and this one and that one over there several times, turn up cases for you, moving you from one cell to another, put you over here with your partners where you can sit back and kick it, but you fucked up and thought that I was one of you and I was cool, and you came and told me, hey, look how Sarge, Officer Brown did such and such and such and such, man, he blah, blah this and blah, blah that. You don't even know you talking to me about my own brother. So as a sergeant, guess what I'm gonna do? Hey, look out, bro. You need to watch out, man, because that inmate, he came and told me this, her, and that there. So whatever the fuck you did, you can't let that shit go that way, man. So I'm finna let what's name them know on second shift when they come in, go down there and take care of that shit, man. But be careful, nigga, because ain't no telling what the fuck he gonna do. And then once they come down there, plant something on you, lock you up, beat you up, or whatever the fuck they do to you, they gonna send another one through there to play the good guy. Man, what you back here for? No shit. All the while, he know everything. But see, a nigga who just get in that system and walking it through, he'll never understand it. But for a nigga who been there, he already know. That's why they say don't do no talking, man. But see, there's always them G niggas. And what I mean by the G niggas is the niggas who already done spent enough time behind bars to where they could have been a doctor or a lawyer. Them the niggas who fully understand how the espionage game works in prison. Because by the time I left that bitch, I fully understood jail is only a atmosphere of who can be the best double agent there ever was. When you break it down. But see, that's because the angle I look at it. Ain't nobody who they really want to be behind bars. You got to think about it, man. The nigga who's a knockout artist sitting up in that jail cell, that's probably the same nigga crying because he ain't seen his kids, man. But y'all niggas ain't never seen him. Every time that door roll, he got his chest out hitting them push-ups. He a double agent, man. For his people, that nigga got bitch in it. He gonna break down and do everything. Wish he was there with him every day of his motherfucking life. But when that door roll out, that ain't who you see. You see this nigga who ain't to be fucked with. You see a nigga who ain't trying to hit. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's why after you've been there for a long time, you can never just say, man, I'm out of jail, man, I'm leaving that jail shit behind, this, that. Nah, homie, you're not gonna do that. And the reason why a lot of niggas will get out of jail, they cook spreads in there, and they come home and cook them same spreads, that's more like a celebration, man. When a nigga go back and cook a spread, and even though he did that shit in jail, but now he got more shit he can put in that spread, to them niggas, that's a form of celebration, but it's an unconscious celebration. Because when he cooked that spread, this time he doing it as a free man. Then on top of that, nigga, I'm celebrating I didn't take the losses the last nigga took. Because I know a lot of niggas ain't get out, man. I know a lot of niggas got fucked off eating that spread. I can eat this bitch in peace. Not only that, I can eat it with my kids. So it's a difference, man. So when people say, oh, you institutionalized, nah, man, that nigga been through something, man. That spread is tied into pain that nigga can't let go of. But due to the fact he can do the same shit, but not under the same circumstances, the nigga feel good when he put that shit together. Niggas sit out here and go through the motions and won't say a motherfucking thing and don't give a damn who got something bad to say about it and gonna continue to do it. Because to him, he can say, I made it. You dig what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Not necessarily just the spread itself, because that's small. Because it's other shit that a nigga can be like, man, I made it out. You know what I'm saying? Because everybody that go in ain't promised that, man. I done seen a dude come in, my next door neighbor. Young dude had 2 years, man. They put him in a cell with a damn fool. And this nigga here finna get whooped by 10 niggas every day on motherfucker. We was on Ferguson, man. This nigga here fool talk shit, didn't give a damn what gang you in. Bloods done whoop the nigga. Crips done whoop the nigga. He just up here, gone. Teeth getting knocked out every other week. But up here, he gone. So when you got somebody who a little more humble and see that this nigga here a damn fool, and you know that he really don't want to die, but he doing shit because his mind ain't right, you learn how to swerve them niggas, right? And the system knows how to swerve the nigga because he done hit officers, got whooped by officers, but they don't want to take advantage of it because he already psychologically diagnosed. But this how they do you. They put a nigga in the cell with him because according to standards, every part must be integrated. Why put a baby in the cell with a wild animal, man? And then the nigga talking about he gonna fight the man, and the young dude like, shit, I don't give a damn, nigga, fuck with me, we gonna fight. This nigga come straight up in the cell, what you gonna do? But now the nigga, I can't say was a hoe, he wasn't in his right mind. He done told that shit to blood niggas, crip niggas, and guess what they do? Get right on that ass. But to this young nigga, bro, this nigga ain't been locked up in the penitentiary 5 minutes. He don't know a bitch ass thing. So he finna fight you like a nigga out the streets with this bullshit, and then he didn't grow up in them gloves in the streets. He wasn't trained in MMA. This is a regular ass 16, 17-year-old kid, basically, because in this prison, nigga, you not even 18 or 19, nigga, you 10 or 11. And guess what happened? In that 2 years, man, he beat that dude up, stomped him and killed him right there. And the nigga standing in the crazy motherfucker, he standing in the cell talking about, yeah, man, I did that. Fuck you blood, fuck you crip niggas, I'm gonna kill one of y'all next. Nigga, the only reason crip niggas and bloods ain't killed your bitch ass is because they already know you fucked up. They just knock you out, stomp you a little bit and let you make it. And after every ass whooping, he woke up with his mind. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's why, you know, in prison, man, it's kind of like a thing of you always fighting to get it right.
Yeah.
And you always fighting to get it right, man.
I was gonna say, you made it make sense as far as you damn near get a doctorate or PhD in prison by, you know, if you look at it like a kid goes to college 4 years just for, you know, regular bachelor's.
Right.
7 years, you know, you might get your master's and move on.
Right.
You know, you do 12 years in a spot, you know, just anybody out there, if you're in high school, just imagine doing 12 years in your high school. 12 years, you didn't see people come and go.
Right.
How much manipulation you'll be able to start playing on the system.
Right.
To where you become such part of it that, like you said, you'll start playing on new students coming in.
Yeah.
And this and that. So now, thank you for that analogy, because that actually made it sink in a little more. You know, when you mentioned that story about even with the situation with you and K White, how do brotherhoods form in prison? How long do they last? Is it till the cellmate leaves, until something happens? Does it continue? Because like you said, you can't really write folks while they moved around. How do brotherhoods form, and how long do brotherhoods last? Whether through a cellmate or just through, you know, going working the fields or just doing whatever.
Brotherhoods get formed in prison and in society like anywhere else in the world, man. You got to have a common enemy. Once my enemy is your enemy and my suffering is your suffering, it's natural for us to combine. We going through the same shit. We sitting in the same spot. We side by side. When I look at you and you look at me, you thinking what I'm thinking. We got to get past this shit. That's how we become brothers. And then in the process of acknowledging what we have in common in front of us, we got to turn and look at ourselves and see if we really alike. Because even though we got a common enemy, that don't mean you necessarily fighting for your freedom, man. Because some niggas like it easy in jail, man. Some niggas rather be in there than be in society. Because in jail, you don't have accountability to the people that you love. They'll never see who you is and what you're doing. You're away from the eyes of the people whose opinions really pose a matter. You around motherfuckers from, I don't know these niggas in Houston, so they can say whatever they want about me. Go over here, kiss this punk, let these niggas take my commissary. Shit, I ain't gotta see them when I get out. See, that's the mentality that further pushes a nigga to his lower self, because you think what's behind bars stays behind bars. You think what you doing, nobody never see. But the nobody is the people you care about. And you right, they won't see it until you slip up one day and somebody say, hey man, I remember so-and-so from down there. Or you be done fuck with one of them punks and then you finna get married. And then one of them punks you was fucking with know a punk that know that punk. Ain't that so-and-so y'all was telling us about? Bitch, y'all need to go tell her. Now you gonna get put on Front Street. And all the while, ain't nobody even know you got down like that. But see, you know, it's variations to this shit, man. Everybody ain't got the same tail, though.
Yeah. Now, that's real. You had mentioned those folks who carry the Bible, hoping for a prayer, you know.
Right.
I mean, I'm assuming you have to keep hope in prison, right?
Right.
You got to hope something's going to change, a law going to change, or,
that's right.
you know, hell, the bitch might burn down. And, something may happen. I don't know. The world may get taken over. Anyone that you met or that you knew that just gave up on hope?
I've seen a lot of people do that, bro.
What does that look like normally when someone they just become so part of the system that?
It's never intentional that they do it. It's always something behind them that they can't overcome. And my analogy from being locked up, for everybody who I done seen hang themselves off 3-row, from the shower, from the bunk, everybody who I done seen rip their dialysis plug out their chest, cut their wrists, I realized something about people that like to end the game. It ain't that they really don't want to live no more. It's that they want the pain to stop. And the only answer they could give themselves is death. Because as long as I'm breathing, this shit gonna always be here. And that's what I conclude when I say, you really don't want to die. You just want the pain to stop. You really don't. And I tell people that, man, everybody that commits suicide, that's the only thing they got in common. It's something hurting them they can't shake, that they wish would just stop, go away, and it never do. And I had a dude that was real cool. He had the plugs in his chest. All he wanted to do was see his grandmama. He didn't have no family, no sisters, no nothing. Lost his mama, lost his daddy. His grandmama was out there, wanted to see her. They had him in solitary. He been there for 2 years. The one time she came to see him, they wouldn't let him out. She done drove all these miles to come see him, man. And he was sad by that. He was hurt by that. When they let him out, he said, man, I'll never get in trouble again, man. He actually submitted to them guards, man. And see, that's another thing that make prison an emotional impact on niggas, man. That's why some niggas learn to separate it. And like you say, PTSD going to war, you learn to take your emotions and put them over there. But when you release back into society, you forget to bring your emotions with you. So when a lot of shit get to happening, you numb to this shit and it don't move you. But for this particular person right here, he couldn't see his granny, man. So when he got out, the laws thought they broke him because he was doing everything they said, stayed clean shaven. It wasn't you that broke me. It was the letters and the words that my grandmama sent me when she came to visit and couldn't visit that broke me. That's what it was. So I put my grandmama before I put y'all in this bullshit palace and these fake ass ordinance that y'all passed out for us to walk by. But to you, I done submitted. So in trying to do the right thing, and you get rewarded with grandmama dead and gone, now you to the point like, damn if I do, damn if I don't. Catch 22, man, and that shit hit hard. Because you lost your granny trying to do the right thing. But then when you was doing the wrong thing, trying to survive, they gave you your props, but them niggas couldn't give you your granny back. So now you stuck up in here realizing what really mattered the most. And now you left. And when I say left, you alone in this bitch now, bro. All that shit you was talking about, carrying that Bible, praying to God. Now you mad in the motherfucker at God. God, you knew that's all I had on earth. You know I didn't give a fuck about these niggas. You know I don't give a fuck about this gang shit. Nigga, my grandmama meant something and you snatched up like that. Nigga, I'm not finna stay here in this bitch and rip that shit out his chest. I'd never forget that shit, man. I was laying on the floor, it was so hot and solitary. I'm laid back on the floor like this at the bars with my hand on the floor because that's the only place you can feel cold air when you're in lockup. Blood run out his cell and roll through the cell next door. I'm thinking the SSI done come through mopping and done hit my motherfucking hand because I'm sleep like this here. I get up, turn around, I looked at the floor, I see the blood, but by me so close to it and it's night, you couldn't smell it. And I couldn't see exactly what it was. But the blood on my hand, I get up, go to the bathroom, man. When I go to pull my boxer down and wipe out, I look and see the shit on my hand. I'm thinking, man, what the fuck is this? I turn around, go back to the door, I see this shit. I said, man, what the fuck is this? So I didn't have no mirror or nothing. I'm in solitary. All I got is my ID. I stick my ID out the bars because they switched the IDs from inmate to offender. And when you got the offender ID, it had reflect on there. So in the right amount of light, you could use your ID like a mirror and see off of it. I put my mirror out there and look. I say, damn, say, man, you all right over there? Nigga wasn't saying nothing. I tell the other dude, I said, say, bro, man, I think old boy done fell out over here. We start rattling the bars. Guards come back there. They took him out. I seen him. I didn't know what he had did. Shit, I went to sleep, man. Next day, they told me, man, he killed himself. He took his dialysis tubes out and he bled out in the cell over there. I say, damn. That's one encounter, man. Then another one was, it was a dude who I almost got into a fight with 2 years before. He was walking around. I'm talking about, man, he put his pants, wash him up under the bunk, press him out. When he come out like he a pimp type nigga in jail. Shirt got a crease in it like he the only nigga with an iron in his bitch. And I look at the nigga like, man, shh. And blow him off like, nigga, you on anyway. You know what I'm saying? And then the nigga wind up doing something, going to segregation. That nigga stayed back there 2 years. When they brought him back saying they was releasing him to population, they walked him through the door. Socks dragging, pants hanging up off of him, hair all on his face, half his head shaved. And I'm looking at this nigga like, damn, where this nigga come from? But I didn't give a fuck about that, man, because I wasn't paying attention to them niggas. I got a nigga in the cell with me. I got to keep one eye open when I sleep. So we go to the rec yard. They start to say, man, look out, Kane. I said, what's up, bro? Remember that nigga so-and-so? What's his name? I said, what about it? Man, you know that nigga down there crazy motherfucker, man. That's that nigga come through down there you heard beating on the door and shit, wouldn't let the laws feed us and shit. I said, what's wrong with the nigga? When it came for a unit shakedown where everybody had to come out the cell with all your property because they finna shake the whole cell down, the whole part down. Now I looked at him, he was gone, man. Nigga looked me right in my face, digging in his nose, sticking his fingers in his mouth. And I just looked at him. I said, man, this shit done tripped out. But see, that goes back to this right here, man. It's 1,000 ways for them people to take you out the game. They don't have to put a hole in your head. They don't have to cut your throat. They don't have to send you over there where them niggas at. All they gotta do is put something in you, man, give it time. It'll take toll on you. And by the time it do, the doctor's gonna have a different diagnosis than what the coroner gonna really know. The doctor's gonna say it was this and that. And that's what they gonna put on that death certificate. But nigga, they killed you, man. They did that. And it's a lot of brothers come out of prison, bro, and they don't know this here. But I done had 2 of them. You go in and they say, hey, everybody get a flu vaccination. They was making people get the flu vaccination.
Oh, damn.
You couldn't refuse it. They'll write your case. Damn. And if you wrote and you coming up for parole, they didn't give a damn. You had to get it. I never took that shit, man.
Damn.
My partner took that shit. Another nigga took that shit. My partner was from where I'm from. The other nigga wasn't from where I'm from. He got out before me. Same shit he died from, this nigga died from. And they said it was cancer, had him going through chemotherapy. Then they blamed it on the radiation, saying the radiation killed the cells, but it also fried other parts of his organs. So, you know, man, it's so many ways that they play in prison in the world. When I sit back and think about it, going in as a baby, say, man, I wouldn't want to go relive that shit, man. You know what I'm saying? Once you graduate from that shit, you better know how to play the game. That's why niggas say, I'll never go back. Like in movies, you'll hear them say all the time, man, I'm not putting no handcuffs on. Man, I'm not going back to jail. That's because when you first went in, a lot of shit you did, it was so stupid. Now that you look back on that shit, nigga, your heart skip a beat. Cause ain't no way in hell I know now what I know. I would have did that shit back then. So by the grace of God, I did that then and I made it this far. And now that I'm here, nigga, I never go back and I never play that game again. That's why some niggas rather die in the streets before they put them handcuffs back on.
When it comes to, you had mentioned someone, losing their granny and stuff. How does it look for someone, and can inmates tell when you have no one on the outside, no granny, no mama, no brother, no sister, no kids? How does prison time look for someone who ain't got nobody?
The first indication of that is if you don't get no mail, get no visits. Because if somebody love you, they gonna come see you. If you got somebody behind you, they gonna write you. If you're not in that commissary line, you left for dead. That's how they gonna know.
Yeah. Do they treat inmates like that differently? Or are there brotherhoods with that as far as, hey, bro, I see you ain't got nothing, bro. Come on, you come under my wing, bro. We
Man, you know what? On a personal note, I do things for people out the kindness of my heart, and I always tell them, don't thank me, thank God, because I ain't shit. So that applies not only in the streets, but in any cage you find somebody being oppressed, man. It's always gonna be somebody that God gonna move, and they gonna say, man, you want a soup? Say, man, you want a shot of coffee? You're gonna have that everywhere you go, man. It's just like being in the streets. Yeah. Somewhere, somehow, somebody gonna offer you something, man.
No, definitely. You mentioned, the Bible, and is there anyone? I don't want to call them false preachers or false prophets, but those who convert over to, God or Christianity or whatever they're going to be converting over to, and they use that Bible to more so get their way. Like, have you seen where people use the Bible, use the word to maybe use it as a bullying tactic? Like, maybe getting commissary on somebody, becoming like almost like becoming like a predator with the word of God. Have you seen that ever happen?
And you know what? When it comes to that Bible, on a religious standpoint, that has been one of the most potent, manipulative weapons ever used in mankind. Human beings have a nature somewhere to where they always look for a higher power. So the concept of worshiping God and somebody telling you I'm close to him and I can tell you all about him and this is what you should do and shouldn't do, it's easy to suck somebody into that because no human is just naturally born evil. Something in you, from the time you start to, 4 or 5, you start learning what mine is and I don't want to share this and that and give me this. When you start realizing that, you also start commenting what's right, what's wrong. I know I'm not going to stick my hand in that goddamn fire because it'll catch on fire. It'll burn me up. That's pain. That's going to hurt. So you know right from wrong. But somebody who can tell you more of the wrongs and more of the rights, you interested. And if you don't know yourself and you get to listen to them for too long, that's going to become your God. Until you find out on your own that it's a lot of false prophets, man. And in prison, especially in prison, the same dude who will stand up and preach to the church will be the same dude go talk to the sergeant and say, hey, would you move this one in my cell? I want to help him out and help him get right. He don't really want you in there because of that. He a double agent. In this cell, he concerned about his kids and his mama. Outside this cell, to everybody else, he concerned about the Lord and his commandments. But when you move that nigga in that cell with him, them commandments go out the window, man. He back to himself. And he gonna let the real him come out. And only that nigga in that cell gonna get to sin.
You mentioned something earlier where a man can't do nothing if he's grabbed by both legs, both hands, and violated. Someone wants to take his manhood.
Right.
He can't do nothing. mentally, most men mentally say they can't live with that, as far as being a victim of violation like that, as
Right.
they willing to kill behind it. Mind you, they can't kill right then and there because it's gonna happen. Whatever's gonna happen.
Right.
But as far as the next day, the plot, the next day all right, we got to have something happen. For a man who has to go through that, but he does exact revenge on his persecutor.
Right.
Will that at least stand in honorable terms as far as the word that gets around the prison? Like, of course, you might not see, he gonna get shipped off or something gonna happen, but at least, it was a violation there, but his thought process, I'm gonna kill those who oppress me, at least one of them.
In a situation like that, it's gonna be honorable, depending on how it happened. It's gonna be honorable because you didn't volunteer for it. You fought, and the odds were stacked against you. Any man, including me and the next nigga who see it go down like that, we all know wasn't nothing you could do. But in the event that it was one-on-one, and we seen you was a killer, we gotta respect that. You got to respect that, because that let us all know the nigga who joined in with 5 niggas that raped you, one-on-one, you would have never got raped. He'd have been dead a long time ago.
Yeah.
So of course that's gonna be honorable.
Yeah. There was a story that I got from a man. Again, this situation happened to where, he said he was tricked. A dude befriended him.
Right.
Gave him a lot of what they call hooch,
Right.
Got him comfortable one day in his room, gave him a lot of drink. He was feeling a little lightheaded.
Yeah.
And then he started to wrestle him, and then he ended up violating the man. Now, after the situation happened, he had went to the infirmary and, told him what happened. And he just asked to, move units. He's like, I just, he didn't want it. He didn't have it in his heart to do that. Somebody gave him a knife. It said he was part of the, I think the Blood Gang or maybe Crips. I can't remember, but he was part of a gang, and they gave him a knife and said, you got to go handle that.
Right.
And he opted not to handle that, so they shipped him to another unit. I think he went to Leavenworth, this federal. He went to Leavenworth afterwards, and that MO followed him. Now I spoke to this man. He said nothing else ever happened again after that, but that did sit with him as far as the violation happened. He was given a knife. He didn't do nothing. He did get beat up at the other unit. Now, this is his story. He said he didn't get violated again, but they had to handle that when he got to the next unit as far as for not handling that business in the last unit. Something like that, me just telling you that story in itself, is that somehow a way you see it playing out? Because this is Fed, this ain't state.
It don't make no difference. You state or the Fed, you a nigga wherever the fuck you go. You a man regardless at the end of the day. So if that shit happened in the state, it happened in the Fed, nigga, it don't change the fact that it happened. And for you to sit back and let it happen, and then years later, bold enough to come stand in front of a camera and tell it to a stranger, but you wouldn't take a knife that a nigga gave you to go cut his throat, nigga, you suspect, man. And that nigga knew what he was doing. And furthermore, we in prison. Nigga, we learned how to box in this bitch. We not wrestling in this motherfucker. And the only time we gonna do some wrestling is if a nigga getting his ass whooped with them hands, and that's his last resort, take it to the WWE. What we look like playing as men in a cell wrestling, man? See, if I was on another unit and nigga walked up in the cell and I said, hey, bro, what happened to you over in the other unit, man? And he started telling me some shit like that, got you full of that hooch, I'm gonna start looking at this nigga eyebrows. I'm gonna look at his mustache. I'm gonna start looking at the nigga beard. Everything he doing that motherfucker, from how he write his letter, how he cross his legs, how he sit down. Cause ain't no motherfucking way, nigga, you let a nigga do that and then you didn't turn around and go for broke. Ain't no way around that shit, man. But again, my answer to a lot of problems ain't the next man answer, man.
Yeah.
Cause you can take that nigga and this nigga and that nigga and you can ask him the same shit, man, and we're not all living in the same world. We just in the same cage. So to him, that might have been cool. He might have just blowed it off and say, well, man, that happened and I just kind of let that go, man, and you know, well, say, you did that. But what they just told me about you is you a nigga I can't fuck with because you let the wrong shit go. And if you let the wrong shit go, that means this can happen again, man. So what you waiting for? Me to start wrestling with you? So that's not honorable to me. But his choice is his choice. See what I'm saying? And then that goes back to what I said earlier, man, about niggas get behind bars and they can do what they want to do because the opinions of the people who we really care about, they don't get to see that shit. So to him, every nigga in jail might be in the fuck you box. I don't care what none of you niggas think about me. I ain't finna kill a nigga and get more time. I'm finna go home to my family. This happened to me, and I'm gonna stay hush-hush about it. But whenever I'm in a safe place to speak up, that's when I do it. And maybe your stage was a safe place for him to tell you, yeah, man, this happened to me, man. You know, this, that, there, and the other. And he was keeping it real. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It could have been like that. Maybe it didn't happen again. I ain't want to speak on it, and I ain't gonna contest what the nigga's saying. But my perspective from being a nigga behind bars, say, homie, you not wrestling and playing with no nigga, and you not taking no motherfucking drinks, calling no motherfucking hooch. See, this goes back to them principles, man, where you get away from the fools and into the world of the wise. Bro, we locked up. Fuck, I look like drinking some shit. You done put bread and sugar in a bitch ass bag and let it sit there till that shit start foaming, and then pour me a cup and say, here you go. But that goes into the concept of how bad people trying to escape their problems. That's why some niggas get put on medication and they sleep all day. Why? Because they think when I lay down and wake up, this time ain't gonna be here. Once I get full of this shit and lay down and wake back up, this time ain't gonna be here. But for a nigga who conscious and fighting every day to get the fuck up out of here, a nigga who living in his head, not succumbing to the institution, he ain't got time to drink, man. He ain't got time to get comfortable. Snorting pills ain't gonna be his thing. That's gonna be a nigga who gonna be up at 2 o'clock in the morning squatting down beside this cell door with his ear like this right here, and he gonna catch some shit that ain't nobody else gonna catch. Why? Because he up looking.
Yeah, the youngest person that you see go to prison, I think some states, I think 17, you're considered an adult.
Right.
To go into a system like that at 17, and let's say you're green. Let's say you lived actually in suburbia. You ain't in no gangs and no hoods coming in. You don't know nothing about nothing, basically. Mom and daddy household, but something happened where you go sit in prison. And how quickly does it take for someone like that to adjust? You were young, but you already probably had a reputation or kind of knew a little bit of the game at first. Right. For someone who don't know the game, going in 17, 18, how quickly does it take to adjust to understand that where you at and how to survive in this thing?
The adjustment phase depends on the individual, man. It's like a project. It's like Project X. We trying out a new drug. Not everybody is the same. It might work quickly on this one, and it might take a little more time to take a toll on that one. You see what I'm saying? So that don't apply to everybody. But speaking of the age 17, I never could understand how is it that at 17, they'll give you a life sentence, right? But they won't let you run for president at 17. See, some of that shit in politics, it always get funky, man, because some things just don't make sense. Yeah. Even at 17, you'll get this person a life sentence. Let's say he did kill somebody. Let's say he knew what he was doing and he killed somebody. But can you argue the fact that a person is not a direct response of their environment? If I'm a Christian, my wife is a Christian, and we have 3 children, what's the probability that they're gonna be Christians too? Oh. You see what I'm saying? So the way this boy or this female was raised up and how they was cultivated, that could have precipitated this murder. Because let's say you took the same individual, put him over there, gave him the same criteria as a you. Would he have did the same thing? That's a question. But see, regardless of that, you did this, we're gonna give you life without parole. Okay. But now he's 17. He think he qualified to run the country. You immediately say, you're not ready. Why? We know you wasn't cultivated for this. So since we know you wasn't cultivated for this, we gonna deny you. Well, if you know I don't know nothing about that, and you deny me the opportunity to run for president, why not look at my cultivation process before I committed these murders? Because apparently that's what plays a factor. That's what you determine your decision on why I can't run for president. My lack of information, my lack of experience, my lack of upbringing, my vision for this. I wasn't in tune with it. But this right here, everything lined up. You did the murders. You was in tune with the murders. Your focus was locked in on this here. You ain't nothing but a threat to society. Well, I be damned. Now, lock him up, throw away the key, man. And that's just always been that, man.
Man, no, hey, right there, you just said that's gonna get dissected. I mean, we gotta look at that.
Yeah.
With that being said, Kane, normally we do these prison stories. We don't do them, of course, to glorify, man. We do it to try to educate and try to speak to the youth out there. Like you said, I think some people that saw your interview has shown their, watching, had their children watching, and I think that's the game that we're putting down. So if you don't mind, use this segment right here to speak to the youth out there that might be taking penitentiary chances. That 17 to 23 year age group, whether a girl or female, where they might just be here trying to get some money, maybe impress a partner, just doing something where they might not understand the time that they about to give up and what they might be facing if they have to go sit down doing whatever it is they're doing. Maybe they scamming, whatever it is. If you don't mind, take time to speak to them to avoid places like, where you have to sit down for 18 years.
When it comes to the youth, the message, it's really more or less not a message for the youth. It'll be questions I'd have for the youth. Because telling them something and you don't have a beat behind it, it's going to bounce up off of them. You got to put a rhythm when you're talking to them. But to me, I start with questions, man. You know what I'm saying? Because I want them to think before they speak and give themselves their own picture of the life they looking for themselves. Because a lot of people growing up, and I would ask them, people always say, well, where you see yourself in the next 5 years? So we got to get past that question. You got to start asking questions like, man, what do you think your mama or your grandmama would really want you to be doing? What do you think your kids expect of you? Do you plan on having kids? The life you want them to have. Just the direction that I go in. Because that's what counts the most, man. The people who love you and their opinions, how they view you, it's not about the world. It's about them people right there. So when I talk to somebody young, I more or less ask them directly, what is it you really want out of life, man? I see what you're doing now. Is that gonna be cool in the next 2 or 3 years? You still doing the same shit? And then let's make it make sense, man. What you gaining out of this? And all the people you surrounded by, it's like one big part of the day. But eventually them faces gonna start fading away. Cause it never fails to happen. Somebody gonna get sick, somebody gonna move, somebody go to jail, somebody get shot, somebody have kids. And then eventually it's gonna come all the way back down to you. And a lot of time the youth don't never picture themselves being the only person walking this earth. So that's how they get lost in the crowd. Because you doing what everybody else do because they got a smile on their face. It's cool. Everybody popular if they got these shoes, they got that coat. Everybody in. I got my hair done. I'm looking like this. We going to the party. But, I'd ask them, man, what you gonna do if ain't nobody there but just you? You don't have no friends, man. Ain't nobody that's gonna come through there and touch you on the shoulder and say, good morning, brother. Ain't no girl gonna come through and kiss you and say you smell good. What you gonna do when it's just you? That's how you tap into the real them. You got to corner them off. Cause see, that old, how kids used to be when you little kids used to get ready to fight, somebody push you on the shoulder, then the kids on the side say, ooh, peer pressure. That's the epitome of peer pressure. You worried about what they think. So instead of you being the real you gonna cater to your peers and get your head beat in. Because you knew you couldn't whoop him before you swung at him. But since you worry about them looking at you like you're a punk or something, as soon as he pushed you and they said, ooh, what you gonna do? You jumped your bitch ass out there and got smoked. Then you added insult to injury, embarrassment on top of defeat because you couldn't hold up. But had it been you by yourself and it had been just him by himself and he poked you, the real you would have said, man, leave me alone, man. I don't want no trouble. And see, that's what the youth got to get out of. Stop trying to impress the next motherfucker, man. Even if they got the latest shoes, don't try to keep up with them. Because if you can't afford them right now, that don't mean go steal none. That don't mean go rob for none. Just so you can identify with them. Because that one robbery could cost you your whole leg while you trying to steal a shoe for your foot. The price is too heavy nowadays, man. And these young people don't think. And this is how you can look and tell when they being guided and misguided. Because in 2026, why would you steal a bicycle, a go-kart, even a video game, and be under the illusion they're not gonna be able to track it back to my house? We're in the future now. If you touch something like me, everything that I got, man, if a dude touch it, take it and throw it in the trash, man. Don't take it to your grandmama's house. Don't take it to know where your kids is at, because you're endangering their life, man. Because once you touch what's mine, I don't want it back. I'm sending them people, man. I'm not gonna play with you. And then you get innocent people hurt behind your bullshit. And I actually had to tell this to a little boy who stole. Now, my son was being nice. And this what goes back to, you can teach your kids the right thing and they can wind up in the wrong situation. Yeah. And not because they did the wrong thing, but because you as a parent taught them the right thing. They in a bad situation. And I'm gonna break that down to you. I taught my little boy, it's okay to share. I taught my little boy, it's okay to let your friends ride your dirt bike. But teaching them the right shit caused them to be in a bad situation. Why? Because who you let ride took it home. Then I had to sit back and think, that dirt bike ain't worth it, man. But my kids come first. Everybody's entitled to a mistake. And I went straight to my phone. I said, I know where it's at, man. I said, man, should I go over here and do this shit? But I say, I don't have nobody to impress. Now ain't the time to make a statement, don't fuck with me, because this kid shit. So I let that be. And I told my little boy, say, man, come on, we finna go get it. I didn't call no grown people because this kid shit. I got him, his sister, and his cousin. I said, y'all get in the car, let's go. So while they riding in the car, you know what they saying? You better get out and beat him up. We gonna get out and fight. You fight, we all gonna fight. I'm just listening to him, right? These baby gangsters talking. When I pull up over there, I went and knocked on the people's door. And I asked for the little boy who he let ride his dirt bike. Stay in a whole nother set of apartments. And I asked him, I said, say, man, so-and-so stay here. I forget the little boy's name. And he say, why? What's up? I said, man, I'm the Little League football coach. And we finna get ready to play football. I was trying to see if he gonna come practice with us today. He said, nah, man, he outside, but he supposed to be back. And then I stopped. And I said, nah, man, I'm not with the Little League football coach. That dirt bike he brought in that house, man, let's do this peacefully and quietly. Roll that dirt bike up out of there, man. When I said that, the dude froze, because now there's no room for lying. You know who the little boy is. That's why I said what I said, because you can't come through the door direct, because how I know he ain't being raised to do this shit. How I know this nigga in front of me ain't teaching him this how you do it. How I know you ain't gonna hide him and knowing he stole it, so when I ask you about the dirt bike, you gonna tell me it ain't in there. So I had to go around that way, which goes back to what I say what you learn in prison. It's one big game of espionage. You never put the real face on when you stepping to get what you come for. You got to come from the blind side. So when he thought I was the football man, he said, nah, man, he ain't here. That just confirmed to me that he stay here. Then I hit him with the truth. Roll that dirt bike up out of here, man. He ain't got to be here. But you see it, get it and roll it up out of there. When he rolled it up out of there, he went and told the boy, mama, man, I knew I should have known not to let him in his house with this. When his mama came through the door, she said, I don't know where he got this from. And I told her, I said, man, he got it from my son. We walked over there to the little boy, and I told him in front of his mama, respectfully and humbly, man. I say, little brother, I know you young, right? I say, I'm not gonna hold it against you, man. Cause when I was your age, I stole people's shit too, man. I done broke into school, took dogs, done took people coats, shoes, the weaker kids. I say I did all that, man. I say, but I'm finna let you in on something. What I used to do back then, it's a difference now. You could do shit and move and get away with it. Today's time, you can't do nothing, man. And I say it's a tracker on everything you touch. So stealing is not an option for you. It's gonna cost you and it's gonna cost your mama. See, back then, it would only tax the kid through reputation. 6-month probation, you're a free man. Mom and dad ain't got no fines to pay. They ain't got to worry about shit. I say, but I'm gonna help you try to see what I'm saying, little brother. You took that dirt bike. And I say, you too young for me to even come for like that. I don't even want my son to come fight you. I say, because if you don't listen to me, the price you gonna pay for taking that dirt bike, if your mom and them don't steer you straight, it's gonna cost you more than what my son could do to you with his fist. So listen carefully, man. Everybody in that apartment over there, I say, your mama standing here and that dude she talked to right there. I say, don't you know I ain't have to knock on that door? You know that, right? No, you don't know that because you too young. I say, but I didn't have to knock on that door, man. I could have had some people kick in that door. And all them people would have got deleted behind you taking something that belonged to somebody else. But you too young to understand it. So what I'm gonna tell you is this right here. If you're not gonna do right, you're not gonna be straighten. You're not gonna straighten up and listen to your mama and them. In your career as a thief, you better find a better way to steal, man, and find you a different product. Because taking from other people in 2026, 2025, 2023, it's gonna get you hurt, man. Because some people ain't gonna come and say, hey, I want this back. Some people might not say, I'm gonna call 911. Some people might just take matters into their own hands. And they might sit back, wait, and just look at you. They ain't got nothing to say, but they know who you is. And see, that's how niggas get to being G's, because they start to realize. And that's how we were saying earlier about the prison, how niggas wind up being an ex-gang member joining that Muslim shit. Because when you get old in this shit, man, and you start to look back on life, you have certain regrets that you wish you had made different decisions. Everybody like that, don't get me wrong. But you a grant a person that leniency, man, because everybody need a fresh shake in life. Ain't nobody just out here doing the right thing. And ain't nobody just 100% evil. So, of course, we gonna make bad decisions. And that was his past. And I told my little boy, you better not fuck with him. And I told him, don't let nobody else ride no more. So now instead of teaching my kids to share, I gotta teach my kids not to share. You see what I'm saying? Y'all took that away. Because me trying to teach them to do the right thing put me in a decision, should I not? And don't nobody want to live with them thoughts, man. Because anytime you cross that line as a free man after you've been sitting in one of them cells 23 hours a day, it's always gonna make you flash back on prison, man. And when niggas start flashbacking on prison, sometime it ain't a good feeling. Sometime that shit can trigger you to, well, fuck this, I'm finna go on mash down. Because you so fucked up how you fucked up your life, that's that emotional shit. That's what niggas have to keep shit in control, because when you get into it with your bitch out here because she running her mouth, women don't realize what a man do with his fist, a woman can do with her words. So you have to tread lightly when you say certain shit to a nigga. But that emotional shit that he suppressed for so long behind bars, to where when he get out here, a simple move like stealing my child dirt bike, that could be the icing on the cake. That could be the button that set me off. So you have to kind of like, man, stay focused when you be out here and not let this shit get to you. And again, that makes it even more complicated for you to understand why people get upset and bothered by the slightest thing. Man, why you tripping behind that? Because you've been taught to, hey man, it ain't that serious, bro. You know what I'm saying? Y'all tripping over this, but nigga, you got to understand, I come from an environment where you wake up telling yourself, this might be the day. So since y'all don't have to live 24 hours a day, 365, wondering, am I gonna have to kill, or will a nigga try to kill me? Everything bother y'all because you taking life for granted. You out here where it's happy at. I was in there where it's sad at. Cause ain't nothing glorified. When you see niggas make them videos, we behind bars doing this and doing that.
Yeah,
say, homie, that's a video of a bunch of people who may be content that they able to survive without being threatened. They got people around them to where they don't feel lonely. But corner each nigga off, man. And when I say corner them off, snatch them up from them niggas over there, come to them like you're a lawyer and say, hey man, I've been looking at your case, it's a lot of this and that. I can get you out of here and it wouldn't take me 60 days. But what you doing now, while you behind bars, you gonna have to stop. Only nigga who gonna proceed is the nigga who ain't got nobody. The one who got somebody counting on him, who coming to see him, sending them letters, putting money on his book, watch how that nigga switch up in 60 days. That being loud, walking with them niggas, he gonna gradually fade back. Then he go back into his real double agent phase to where, man, I got something going on, man. He gonna get the line. Man, I've been told so-and-so got cancer, man. I don't know what I'm gonna do. So them niggas will feel sorry for him, but all the while, they won't put no pressure on him so he can fake it to make it. And hope like hell that lawyer wasn't lying about them 60 days. But due to the fact that ain't the reality, and that nigga know he gonna be in this bitch all day and tomorrow, guess what he gonna do? This is my 15 minutes of fame. So you get on that phone in this prison uniform snitching to the world, because to you ain't got shit to lose. But see, every time that happen, man, you really breaking down the game and weakening it for the real niggas that's supposed to be in the game. And see, I tell people all the time, it ain't number 2 people, man, that belong in the streets, man. Or shall I say it ain't number 2 people that's in the streets. You got the people who need to be out there because they don't have no other alternative in life. Ain't nothing else gonna feed them. And then you got the other people who just infatuated with their lifestyle. And the people who infatuated with their lifestyle, that's a threat. If you don't belong over here, nigga, don't come over here. Because see, due to the fact that this all I know, them people can lock me up all day long and I ain't never gonna give them no secrets. I ain't gonna never tell them a bitch ass thing because this is all I know. So I constantly made a decision. If you catch me and you got the videotape, you got the witnesses, you got the weapon, nigga, I'm not saying nothing. Coming to me with something I can plead out to, guilty, and I'm gonna get the fuck up out y'all face, man. But for a nigga who infatuated with this shit, it ain't in you. That shit ain't even on you. Nigga, you just imitate. That's a threat. Because when they lock him up and he done spent too much time right here, everything he learned, he gonna hand over. And that ain't good, man. That's why when I see certain people and I can look and pick up their vibe, this nigga ain't with that shit, man. He faking the funk. I stop talking to him. And when I do talk to him, I talk to him about what they talking about. Whatever they got to say, I just act like I'm relating to it and I let that be, man. Because I know when they get you over there, what you gonna do? And see, prison will teach a man real quick. One thing you never do, bro. One thing you never do. Trust what a nigga do behind closed doors to free itself or please itself. Prison taught me that the hard way. And it's sad to say, man, but them walls and them bars, say, homie, it's an eye opener. And everybody get shut down and cornered out. You know what I'm saying? And I don't want to speak on like every nigga fucked up or even paint the picture like I was the realest nigga in that bitch. Nah, homie, I got weaknesses too. You dig what I'm saying? Yeah. Every man do. No matter how solid he may say he is, every nigga got a weakness, man. You know what I'm saying? You could have a nigga be a stone cold killer, watch him shoot motherfuckers, fight niggas, ain't never took a loss. But I promise you, it's some that'll bring tears to his eyes. I promise you, it's some that'll make that nigga shut the fuck up. I don't give a damn what a nigga say. And see, these people in power understand this shit, man. That's why, prime example, like I said about old boy who ripped that shit out his chest. See, I learned from that moment, they thought they broke him because he was doing the right thing. But it wasn't you. It's the shit that he was going through that meant more to him than playing your game or opposing you. To where I love him so much, I'ma act like the motherfucker you want me to be. And that's how that be, man. But like I say, people don't learn that in time out. They learn that doing time.
Oh man, no, for real. Now as bars, just to even say, you know, what someone will do to free himself or please himself is, you know, hey, you putting down some. My last thing I gotta ask you, I gotta get your take because I know we never went through your backstory, which we're not gonna stay on your backstory as far as what got you incarcerated. But you are wearing the shirt, man. Only God can judge me.
Man, you know what, man? I got about 5 shirts like this, man.
Man, that's real.
And when I wake up, I'm gonna be honest with you, bro. I got some confessions, man, that meant for nobody but God. Because no matter how much people say, I'm not gonna judge you, if you make them mad, they'll use the shit that you told them in your time of confessions, your time of hurt and sorrows, they'll use it against you, man. Yeah. And everybody got somebody that they trusting with their secrets. Yeah. Just like I could trust you, and confess to you, you might got somebody else who you can confess to and trust. And you might entrust them with the shit I entrusted you with. See what I'm saying? So when I put this shirt on, man, it's kind of like me shaking my head at myself. You know what I'm saying? Because I got some shit that I regret I did, man. Some shit I can't undo, I can't take back, that I got to live with. And then prison takes away time from your family that you never be able to retrieve, man. And that's hurtful. You know what I'm saying? You miss a lot being in that cage. See, people might say, oh, it ain't shit, it ain't that. But they not telling you the truth behind that shit, homie. Somebody gonna die you love, man. You're not gonna be able to go to that funeral, man. You gonna get letters and pictures. And when you sitting back looking at these letters and pictures, a man would say, man, I'll never kill nobody over a piece of paper, man. Man, that picture, man, I'm not finna kill you because you tore up that picture or nothing. Say, homie, you ain't been put in a situation to where that one piece of paper is all you got. The face in that motherfucking piece of paper is the last time you saw him. You will kill behind it. The circumstances for you to do it ain't just aroused yet. You know, people say all the time, you know, like I was joking with my sister the other day, man. We were eating something and the shit hit the floor. I said, damn, sister, you ain't gonna pick that up and eat it? She said, hell no, I'm finna throw that shit in the trash. I say, shit, you must ain't seen hard times then. She bust out laughing. She said, there you go with that jail shit. I said, I'm gonna tell you something, man. When I was in jail, and I tell her, man, it's a lot of shit trigger me, but I grew up in that bitch, man. And I learned sometimes shit ain't as bad as what it looked like, man. You find a way to survive, especially if it means to keep from going hungry. Because that's what's gonna move you. No matter what people say, man, you can control a motherfucker through their stomach. Because you gotta live to eat. But if you ain't eating shit, you ain't gonna live. Now, I didn't say it the other way. I ain't say you gotta eat to live. I say you gotta live in order to eat. Yeah. So if niggas say, homie, and that go a long way. But see, that's another element of incarceration that's utilized as a weapon to make motherfuckers bow down. See, when they realize that inmates come together and this finna be a staff on inmate confrontation, we're gonna lock this whole motherfucker down and we finna give him a wake-up call. Bitch, you eat when we say you eat. And after you done went a whole week and ain't ate shit, my mail got to go to you. You responsible for my people getting the message and they never get it. I have no choice but to comply. I have no choice but to comply. See, this is keeping it real. And OG niggas understand this shit, man. But to young niggas, oh man, that'll never happen. That'll never be this. Say, homie, it's a difference. You are trapped. You don't have options. They control this shit, man. Ain't nothing gangster about living in a world where you have little to no say-so. So to override that shit and make it look like it's gangster, that's how you have one animal picking on another animal. That's why prison is full of violence, because that's part of a man being a man. I got to have something that says I am who I say I am. Yeah. I can't be this without that. Otherwise, it's just me saying it. You know what I'm saying? God can't be God without somebody believing in him.
Man, for real. And to the last thing to take off the shirt is, the judge and the jury that gave you the 18 years. Do you have any animosity towards them still? Did you carry any animosity going in? And if you released it, when was that released?
Man, I said it long time ago, bro. When I'm playing in them streets, if you got me and I belong in these streets, I don't have no information for you, man. Give me something I think I can do and I'm gonna plead guilty to get the fuck out your face. Don't talk to me about nobody else. That's on my rap sheet. Yeah. I plead guilty. I didn't have time to incorporate nobody else because my partner was my partner, man. I got a family out there, bro. Them people raised me to be better. I took myself down through that. You think I'm gonna snitch on you? Go sit behind some cage in protected custody and leave them out there vulnerable? I never know what another nigga do behind his freedom. I never know what a nigga do behind a nigga double crossing. So with that being said, and I know how I grew to look at that type of shit, I just took my lick and kept it moving, man. I never went to no trial.
Man, that's real. All right. Last time we spoke, I didn't get a chance to put out your social medias. I know you were still like kind of staying off for a little bit. Have you decided to attack social media where you want to give us social medias? And also, what I want to allow you to do is, to shout out to some real ones you did time with. Some of those names who don't get spoken on. Give a voice to the voiceless. Some guys, some solid stand-up dudes that you actually did time with. Maybe they're still in there. Maybe they didn't make it. Maybe they're out and about and that you just ain't talked to them. But if you don't mind, shout out some of the dudes that, just that you remember that rung bells for you.
Yeah, my brother Chip, man. Yeah, my brother Chip out Park Road, 187. I give a shout out to him, man, because me and him was like this right here, man. I need to write him and go see him. I started when I got out writing him. I was going down there to see him and everything, man. And life took its toll, and I slid back, started having a child and everything, man. And everything, it went to doing like this so fast to where I ain't never forgot about him. But that's number one, man. That was my brother, man. We stayed tight, never had no problems. And he knew I was down with him. Because see, what strengthened my bond with him is he seen the odds against me and he understood what it was. But he also seen me stand and face the odds, because sometimes when them numbers group up on you, bro, you ain't weak if you don't face all them numbers at one time. But if you start picking their ass off one by one, I respect shit like that. Yeah. That goes back to the rape thing. If 5 niggas rape you, man, I'm not gonna look at you like you're a punk if you didn't volunteer for it. But if you kill one of them niggas out there 5, nigga, I'm gonna shake your hand and I'm gonna treat you like it didn't happen. Because I know for a fact, let that one nigga came by himself and tried to get some ass. He didn't bring enough for it. He gonna wind up losing some. But then, my boy K White, yeah, me and him was tight in the motherfucker, man. I ain't seen that man say, me and K White was tight in the motherfucker, bro. I ain't gonna lie to you. Me and that nigga was cellmates down there, man. That nigga was cool. But I used to think he was probably cool with everybody, but yeah, he was a cool dude, man. Him, then my partner out of Houston, what's his name, man? I believe he's still locked up right now. And he had a hell of a case. And I can't speak on his case, but it was just so much in his case where you had to give him a pass because it involved another female who was lying about her age and stuff like that. But all the facts and everything lined up with what he got. Didn't nobody even bother with him because you could tell they used him for an example, man. Yeah. Then it just fucked over the dude, man, because it's self-explanatory. He didn't do that, man. Yeah. Y'all got the wrong person. But, hey, man, it is what it is. And a lot of other dudes, like my little partner out the cliff, I could give him a shout out because a nigga taught me how to box. But, he wishy-washy, man. He like a political prisoner, so to speak. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. But I had to give him a shout out because I grew up with him, man. I know him. And he put, he taught nigga how to fight. But that was his only flaw, man. You a political prisoner for real. And I ain't talking about the political kind where they say this person is fighting all the rules against the system and trying to help enforce the safety of the inmates. Nah, he's a political prisoner, as in when the numbers shift this way, he gonna shift that way. And I didn't like that, man. Yeah, I didn't like that, man. But other than that, some other dudes, man, that I could give a shout out to, they already free, man. And if they ain't free, they did.
All right, well, definitely shout out to the guys, man. If somebody was wanting to follow you, do you care to get followed? You care to give out your information as far as to follow you?
Man, you know what? In all honesty, I don't mind them following me, but I've never been a social media type. You know what I'm saying? So depending on the reviews and stuff from my comments, because, I don't do this every day. So depending on my reviews, what people say, I might just tap into it, create a platform, because I got a idea for a little social media platform, but it's, I just show my support, man. Tell it how it is the best way I can. So I wouldn't mind somebody follow me. If I'm invited back, then I'd probably come back where I can say, hey, man, y'all can catch me on this and that. Yeah. And that way they could kind of like size me up on how I maneuver and what I got going on. Because, being on the platform, you open up yourself for a lot of, scrutinization to see if what you say is fact and what this is real. And everything I say is real. I will never stand in front of the camera and lie because that looks bad, man. I can't say I took my lick and keep it moving. Then you gonna say, oh, man, he played out, man. He went over there and snitched on this person. Nah, man, it's nothing like that, man. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And I'm still looking for my fall partner because I ran into him one time. We were locked up. I crossed paths with him. We was on the same unit, man. And I was like, damn, bro. And I had to tell him straight up, bro. They didn't lock my cousin up, man. And, it's like that, though. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes it ain't the people right here. It's the ones that got you, that do you the worst, man. And I hate to say it, but it's real, man. Family ain't always family, man. You know what I'm saying? The people that hurt you the most, it's a proven fact. It's the motherfuckers closest to you.
Sometimes it's proximity, man.
Yeah, it's proximity.
Yeah. Man, with that being said, no, definitely, as you start creating a name for yourself and you want to create a lane with this, coming on Prison Stories, it's only right that, whatever comes from this, that, we feedback or that I feedback into you. So anything you need, let me know. All right. Well, with that being said, it's another classic. I'm definitely going to invite you back. We keep peeling back the layers of this onion. I feel like we might be touching some people. So with that being said, Kane, once again, I appreciate you coming through, man. This is Prison Stories 101. And I salute you, bro. Hey.
Salute you right back.
Let's go.